Hello, this is Mad Pistol, and today we're going to play a game of Desert Strike. Actually, I take that back. This game's already been played. So what I'm going to show you is the replay of it. So first of all, that's me. I'm a little builder zergling thing, and I just blew it up. Okay, Modest Desert Strike. I've been playing this on and off for about a year or so, and this is the first video that I've actually made of it. Needless to say, I've gotten pretty decent with it. You know, I played it way more than I care to admit. But so we're going to kind of go through this. The beginning is really bad because they build a bunker in the middle, which is really stupid. And then my teammate builds something behind the silo, which, if you've never played this game before, the idea is to attack that silo first. Which you see it is now being attacked, and this is going to do nothing right here. It's good stuff. So, yeah, and as you can see, someone is now beaconing that area because it is a terrible place to put it. Yes, very nice. So, and as you can see, our silo is still dying. Alright, little information about Desert Strike. There's me talking now. I am kind of angry. Well, you build buildings, and based on what you build, the units spawn over to the to the playing field, which is out here. Now you can send your builder out there, but you can only build defensive units, so I usually don't do that. Now these are my first wave of units. You're going to see it's going to get easily crushed, just like that. And yeah, nothing to see here. So let's increase the speed a little bit and watch what happens. Yeah, still doesn't really do much. And what you just saw there was my teammate leaving out of rage. He boomed, which is another mechanic. We only each get one boom, so he just wasted his, and we don't have a chance to claim it now. So automatically we're at a disadvantage, but I'm kind of glad he left. So, and now me and Light Blue get into a little tussle here, and our silo's about to fall, and there's nothing we can do about it. He did just screw us badly. And now it's gone. That's a silo monster. He's going to kill things. There we go. Alright. So, and he's saying it was our fault, even though it really wasn't. Yes. So back to building. I'm building gas as quickly as possible, which is the way you get your economy up. You can't see it over here, but in the actual game, there's a counter for gas. It actually tells you, it actually helps you increase your resources more quickly. So here's my units. They're going to get destroyed because we are so far behind now. Oh, when you destroy the silo too, you get 1,000 credits, or 1,000 gas in this case, which is very good because that means that they now have the silo, and they have more resources than us. So we are now at a massive disadvantage, and we're doing everything we possibly can to stay alive. Fortunately, the silo monster does his job for a while. We're gonna come over here, watch this wave. You're gonna see that we're gonna both continue building up. Now at this point, you know, if you've been following the conversation, I really want to beat this guy, like, badly. It kind of fuels my nerd rage. So yeah, that becomes the entire point of this game is I want to beat this guy. And yeah. Now this guy over here, he's alright. Not great, but he's alright. He helps us continue to hold on. But as you're going to see in a little while, I think it eventually wears down on him because we continually get destroyed wave after wave. At this point I'm telling him to gas because he's not, and I want to beat him. So as you can see, I am very angry. Alright, we're going to continue to move on even quicker. Alright, Silo Monster just died. What does that mean? Silo Monster dies, that basically means that our first wave of defense is gone. Good stuff. And now we are losing our second wave of defense, and as soon as that falls, our Nexus is vulnerable. And if they destroy the Nexus, we lose the game. Yeah, not so good. Now, at some point coming up, it's actually going to get pretty epic in terms of the battles, but right now they're just slaughtering us. We're up to turn spawn 18. There's 80 spawns in this entire game, so we're going to speed up a little bit more. There we go. Can't speed it up much more than that without... Actually, I think they actually just slowed it down a little bit. Alright, and they just broke through, and now I'm telling you that I'm going to boom first, and, which is usually what I do in games. Anyway. Now this part, again, not very interesting. He's just completely running over us. We're not really doing much. Let's go over what I've built so far. So here's my build so far. It's pretty typical. It's what I usually do. I usually build 2 hatcheries and put 16 zerglings on each one of them. And then just the 5 zerglings of the regular one. I usually build a lot of roaches. And the reason I do that is because I found that roaches are actually really good against infantry at the beginning, and they're also good at being kind of miniature tanks as well. They're also, unless the other person has detection, they're also really good because they can sneak up on the enemies and surprise them. Slugalisks help the zerglings along, definitely keep them. And then the infestation pit. What are those? Oh, they're infestors, that's right. Those are good because they spawn a few infested Terran Marines. But the main thing that I do here is I build aberrations. I do that because they are pure tanks for the Zerg. And as you're going to see here in just a minute, they really do a good job of holding them off. So they're still beating us really, really, really badly. Like, really badly. So now at this point, I'm going to start on my next part of the build, which is going to be some Ultralisks. But I'm going to complete the Zerglings there. Now as you can see, they basically whittled down our defense to almost nothing. So we're kind of holding on by a thread at this point. If they get just a little bit more, I mean, they're going to start hitting us, and we're going to have to use our first boom. Which is bad because we're already down a boom. Eventually this guy is going to get angry. You're going to see what he does. Speed it up a little bit. Now his is actually pretty good. His wave is decent. He's got some medevacs, lots of marines, lots of marauders. Very good wave. And actually, this guy right here, Sour, is using a tactic that I use a lot for Terran, which is marines, marauders, and reapers. And I found it works very good against Zerg and Terran. Even works better on Protoss. Not so good on Terran, but works really good against Zerg or Protoss. So now he's built some tanks at this point. That's going to help a lot because I'm going to begin reinforcing them. I'm going to come over here. Now as you can see, the waves continually get bigger. If you're not used to Desert Strike, the waves continually get bigger. That's one of the functions of the game. Still going now. We just saved the tanks, so now the tanks are going to help my wave to do a little bit better. Oh, I'm not yelling at my mic. So here he comes. Now this time we're going to lose the tanks. We did, and his wave is going to reinforce him, so keeps turning around back and forth. how his tanks get destroyed, and I think this is the point at which he starts getting frustrated. So I'm still working on... Okay, good. So I got another couple of Ultralisks. And now... Oh, hey, look at that. I took one of their tanks. That definitely helps. Doesn't help against those fire bats, but eventually they're not going to be an issue anymore, so... Now, only thing I don't like about this guy is he's just continually building tanks. That's alright in some cases, but in this case I'd rather see him building a few more Marines and Marauders. But, you know, that's his deal. That's what I would have done. Alright. So at this point, he's reinforcing his tanks 100%, which is very bad for us, because that means they're going to start, they're going to start swarming on our Nexus, and once they start swarming on our Nexus, it's basically over, except for the booms. Very bad. The Nexus is now just, it's called Desert Fortress, I call it a Nexus, whatever. It's now beginning to take damage, and this is the point at which this guy starts getting really frustrated. I'm pretty frustrated too at this point, because our teammate has basically screwed us over, and he finally left. Alright, so we're going to slow it down. Now, he's left. So, I'm going to be the first one to say this away from the action. I've never seen a game where a Zerg by himself has beaten another team with Terrans, with one Terran, let alone two Terrans on it. I've never seen it before. So, we're now going to watch what happens with this game. We're about halfway through. At this point, I'm trying to concoct an idea into my head that will, you know, eliminate them. Actually catch them off guard and actually win, because that's the only way we're going to win. I can't brute force them. Terrans are the only race that's able to really, truly brute force a win. So at this point, I have to outsmart them. So, and that's going to be seen coming up with my first tactic, which is building a Swarm Guardian, which is a very, an air-to-ground unit, long range, that does a lot of damage, especially to infantry. So I'm going to do that at right at turn 41. Now what that's going to do is at 42, these walls right here are going to fall, and we're going to be able to begin increasing our economy again. So that's part of my tactic, is as soon as that gets built, as soon as the Swarm Guardian gets built, it's attacking them. They haven't built defenses up, and it wails on them and gives me a good bit of an advantage while they're gassing. Good stuff. So, let's watch. See, my wave is pretty much useless right now. I'm not stacking. They're destroying me with tanks. At this point, they're probably going, hee hee hee, I'm gonna win. So, let's just keep watching. Alright, so at this point, I built the Swarm Guardian, and the walls are going to fall in about 20 seconds. So, I'm going to be very quick to gas, because I have to be in order to win this. Walls fall, gas, up. There we are. Alright, so, now look. He is completely swarming the Nexus, like this. So at this point, I'm going, dude, I'm screwed. What am I going to do? Well, fortunately, the Swarm Guardian starts performing its magic and actually does a really good job of taking out their forces. So that's in my favor. And the Swarm Guardian continues to survive this next round, and now I've got two Swarm Guardians. Gotta love being just one player, because your waves keep doubling each time you build on top of it. So in the name of Swarm Guardians, each time a wave builds on top of itself, as you can see, they are completely destroying the Marines, and that's why the Swarm Guardians are so hated and considered overpowered. Problem is, the Swarm Guardians have no defense against air-to-air, which is why they have a pretty horrific weakness, which is air-to-air combat. So here we are. Now I got three Swarm Guardians, And now we're actually starting to make some progress. Now the Zergs are going to show up and they're going to halt that progress, but I mean, look at that. In a matter of a few waves, I'm actually starting to turn the tide a little bit. Gas is back up, so now I'm going to build a couple more things over here, and I'm going to go to gas again. Now see, they're on my Nexus. Not very good. My Swarm Guardian just died. So again, I'm starting to sit here and contemplate when I'm going to actually boom, use my first of only 2 booms. And starting to get a little tense. Starting to get really tense. There we are. Swarm Guardian is going to get protected. Yes, it does. And here we go. Chomp chomp. I'm eating into their wave. Their second wave isn't going to make it. So, you know, good for me. It means I'm going to actually gain a little ground on them. There we are. I've already got my 5th gas up. I've got 1 more gas to go after this one. Now this, I think, is Swarm Guardians gonna? No, Swarm Guardians are going to survive. So I'm now going to have 3 Swarm Guardians that are going to help me out against the Zerg and the tanks. Big plus, big bonus. And they, as you can see, they are helping out tremendously. They really are halting their attacks. They don't do a perfect job, but yeah, as you can see. Now see, he's actually built a Brutalist to help combat those Swarm Guardians. I don't really bother me because they're not very good ground-to-ground units. So, now these guys don't know it yet, but the Swarm Guardians are not going to be the bulk of my attack, as you're going to see very shortly. The Swarm Guardians, I'm kind of playing off that mentality of, oh no, Swarm Guardians, they're going to completely rip us apart and we have to defend against them. And I'm using that to my advantage. Basically, I'm using them as a means to reinforce, as opposed to a means of being the spearhead of my attack. Alright, so we got the next gas coming up here at some point. Let's go ahead and speed that up a little bit. Get to the good stuff. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but on the mini-map, my forces are pushing forward. Very slowly. And that's thanks to the Swarm Guardians performing their magic. And I'm about to gas right here. We are now 37 minutes, we're over halfway into the match. Alright, and that's it. So we're now in the final gas. Let's see what's going on. Got 1 Swarm Guardian that's working. As you can see, he's actually built a couple of Vikings now to take out the Swarm Guardian. It's a good move. It basically neutralizes the Swarm Guardian from the wave before. The one thing it doesn't do, though, is it doesn't take out the Swarm Guardian for the next wave. As you can see, they get destroyed pretty easily. And then, Graves. That's pretty funny. Now that's the other thing I'm worried about is Ravens, which actually deploy countermeasures projectiles, which any of the Hunter Killers, the Hydralisk, and also the Swarm Guardians all have projectiles. So bad for me, not that big of a deal, but it is going to be a setback. So keep watching. So I'm still doing a good job of countering them. I don't have that commanding lead that I had. I'm not pushing very much. They've definitely begun to counter me in a way that is pretty destructive to my wave. So at this point, you know, I'm just biding my time until my gas is done, which should be here in just a second. Final gas is a whopping 180 seconds. Each time, the first gas is 30 seconds, and from there, each subsequent gas you add 30 seconds to the time. So 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180 seconds. You know, 180 seconds is how many turns? I mean, that's 4 turns. That's 4 turns worth of time. A lot of time, so you have to just kind of sit back and wait. Alright, okay, my gas is back up. All of our gases are back up. So at this point, my goal becomes to get control of the air, period. I want control of the air, because if I control the air, that means they're going to want control of the air. So, and it also means that I can build swarm guardians, and the swarm guardians will begin stacking on top of each other. So at this point, my sole goal is to get control of the air. I don't want control of the ground, because the Terran will be much better on the ground than I will. So that's that. So I begin building lots of corruptors. And as we're going to see, you're going to begin seeing a lot of corruptor swarms up here. So, alright, so I continue building corruptors whenever I can remember to do it. Alright, let me see. Alright, now I'm not really worried about the ground forces so much. The ground forces, I think they're doing a great job, but let's face it, against those tanks right there, ground forces aren't going to do a very good job at all. So, I'm almost 100% focusing all my efforts towards air. Now at this point I did do a couple of things. I put a couple more aberrations into place, and I also put another slugolith to help get my forces forward a little bit more quickly. But beyond that, that's pretty much the extent of my ground forces for right now. So now I go back to looking towards getting the air. Let's see what happens. At this point, I want the air. That's all I want. I just want control of the air. If I have control of the air, then I can work off that and start getting control of everything else. As you can see, they want control of the air too. The good news is that it's a lot harder for them to coordinate, all 3 of them to get control of the air, as opposed to me, just myself, getting control of the air, trying to coordinate with myself. The trick with being 1 versus 3, though, is tempering your resources so that it's powerful enough, but it's not to the point where it's overkill. If you get to the point where it's overkill, they can exploit that. You don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that everything is balanced in a situation like this. So I still don't have control of the air. I realize that right now. So I go back over here, and at this point I'm building massive amounts of air resources still. Still going. As you can see. Still going. Now at this point I begin to take control of the tanks, which is massive. That's exactly what I want. I'm destroying the Vikings, which is, again, massive. That's exactly what I want. Because if I can destroy the Vikings, then that's one step closer to showing me that I have control of the air. Not working perfectly. Still have a couple Vikings left, so I still have to work on that. So I've almost got a full line done. Now when the line's almost fully done, I think I go back and build a Swarm Guardian to kind of augment my ground forces, because at this point they're starting to get pretty much swamped. They are now, seeing how they're building more Ravens, they're starting to kind of catch on what I'm doing. So, not a good thing, but they can be overcome. The only way to overcome the Ravens really is to just build more projectile units so to exhaust them more quickly. And I know that's kind of a barbaric way of doing it, but that's how I do it. I don't change my tactics because of Ravens, because in order to do that is basically admitting defeat. Alright, so at this point I built another Swarm Guardian, so now there's going to be 2 Swarm Guardians out on each turn. Should help my ground forces a little bit more. I'd be lying to you if I didn't start to feel kind of bleak at this point, because I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to win this. So, again, I go back to my strategy of just, I need the air. That's it. Nothing else matters. I want the air. I air forces. That's all I want. So here we go again. As you can see. Now we make a pretty significant breakthrough. Took out their detection by itself. Now see, the Swarm Guardians actually at this point really work well, because now they're starting to stack on top of my waves, and voila, now I have 3 Swarm Guardians, and a recovered Swarm Guardian. Perfect. Now they're going to take out the tanks very easily. They're going to take out the air forces very easily. I'm not sure what happened to those raids. I'm not sure if they're still around or not. I think I destroyed them. If you did destroy them, they basically just handed it to me. They basically just gave me free money by doing that. Now bear in mind, I haven't destroyed their silo yet, so I'm still down on money compared to what they are. They all gassed around the same time I did, so unfortunately that leaves me at a massive disadvantage right now. Alright, so I still got 3 Swarm Guardians. Now they're all sticking back, trying to destroy my corruptors. Now I've got 5 Swarm Guardians. So as you can see, this is that whole mentality of don't overdo things, because they begin stacking on top of each other, and you begin getting very, very powerful units when they start stacking on top of each other. You begin getting very powerful waves just because of those stacks. As you can see, look at that. I've almost completely dismantled this wave. So it's fair to say that I am now gaining on them quite quickly. Now we're at turn 66. Not good, because that means that we're almost finished with the game. Let's go back over here and look what I've done. Okay, now I've started building Hydras, and you're going to see what those are for here in just a little while. But okay, so I've got air supremacy. You see that? Having all those corruptors in the air after that one wave means that I have full air supremacy. That's exactly what I want. I want 100% air supremacy. Uncompromised. And I've accomplished that at this point, which means that my Swarm Guardians now rain down on everything that moves forward past that. So, huge bonus for me, and I am now right knocking on their silo door. It worked. I've got air supremacy, and I am now knocking on their door. So, at this point, they're probably scrambling, trying to wrestle hold of me, trying to destroy these Swarm Guardians, because they think these Swarm Guardians are a threat. They're not. Again, they're just augmenting my forces. And as you can see, with all these Thors, that's just exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to wrestle away the air from me, because they think the Swarm Guardians are the monster here, and they're just not. Swarm Guardians, again, are not the real threat. So I'm going to destroy the air, destroy their Swarm Guardians, and look at that. Again, air supremacy. Not the air supremacy I wanted originally, but it is still there. And I'm destroying their Vikings now, making a very big move, and I'm building more Hydras as we go. Now, yeah, I'm about to get the silo. Now, once I get the silo, I'm going to be completely dead, even if not a little bit ahead of them in terms of money. So, there we go. I've now caught up with them, finally. And now I'm playing with them on an equal battleground. We're also at turn 70, and I still have 2 booms left. Massive victory so far. It means I've come back from pretty much certain defeat. And it's all because I wanted to control the air. Because I want to control the air, it gives them something they have to fight against. As soon as I wrestle control of the air, that's when I start building more Swarm Guardians. And that's basically the idea. You push a point until it's finally yours. Once it's yours, then you start augmenting that point with other forces. That's always been my design. That's always been my strategy, and served me pretty well. I win a lot more games than I lose. Still coming along quite nicely. I still control the air. They're starting to get a little bit more back, especially with all these Brutalisks right there. They don't like the fact that I control the air. but alas, I do. And I continue to. And I'm actually about to knock on the door of their fortress, their nexus. Good stuff. We're at turn 72 now. We're getting pretty close to the final battle. Let's go look what I've done. So far, okay, I've almost got 2 rows of Hydras here. 2 rows of Corruptors. I've only got 2 Swarm Guardians. So that's a big note right there. 2 Swarm Guardians. That's all I've got so far. I've been able to accomplish this with the use of only 2 Swarm Guardians. That's a big... If you play Zerg a lot and you like Swarm Guardian rushing, that should be your wake-up call right there. You don't have to build a ton of Swarm Guardians in order to be good at this. In fact, a ton of Swarm Guardians is pretty easy to counter if the person knows what they're doing. So at this point, I've clearly taken an offensive strategy because now here's where my luck turns around, because I'm right up on their defenses, and their defenses begin tearing apart my air. So at this point, my incredible supremacy in the air actually disappears, which is quite saddening for me. As you can see, it just disintegrates due to those defenses. But at this point, we're at turn 74. I've got 6 turns before the final battle, and it's not a big deal to me. I've got 2 rows of Hydras. I've now built 1 more Swarm Guardian, and I'm still working on my Corruptors. I have a ton of Corruptors up here. You're going to see why in just a second. At this point, my goal. Okay, there's my 4th Swarm Guardian. So at this point, they're thinking I'm gearing up for the ending of the battle with a lot of Swarm Guardians, right? Nope. Again, I don't like to use Swarm Guardians as my final battle. I like to use another technique, and when I'm by myself, it makes it a lot easier to execute. Just remember all these Hydras there. I'm going to show you what I do. Alright, we've got a lot of Hydras there. Let's see what we're doing. Alright, now at this point, I'm building Brutalists because I don't want them to get control of the air back. I still want 100% control of the air at this point. They're starting to make a little bit of a move on me. They're doing almost all of it from ground to air, which is great. That's exactly what I want, because that's less for my air to have to contend with. Or air to air to have to contend with, which means that they can accomplish their task a little bit easier, which I'm not sure if you figure this out yet, but the task of the air to air is to destroy their detection. That's right, I want to destroy their detection. And but yet, I don't have any cloaked units. Why would I want to destroy their detection if I don't have any cloaked units? Well, you're going to see in just a second. My master plan comes to fruition right here at the end of the game. Turn 78. Almost there. Now, as you can see, they're starting to build up, which means I'm starting to lose my edge. Starting to lose my cool a little bit, going, oh no, is this actually going to work? But now they've got a lot of air forces that are coming after me at this point. A ton. See that? A ton of air forces. Then again, so do I. You're going to see at the end that I have a lot more air forces than they do. Right now, it doesn't look like much because almost all their forces are designed to take out my air. It's exactly what I want them to do. Turn 79. One more turn, and then that'll be the end of the game. Sorry it's kind of slow, guys. It's very action-packed here at the end. Alright, so here... Well, hold on, I'll show you what it's like. Now, for some reason, this guy has built Protoss units. Kind of weird. I didn't even notice that until now. So he sacrificed a boom for that. That was kind of stupid. Probably part of the reason I won. So here we are. And here comes the big one. Now this is why I'm gonna win. Okay, and I built some more aberrations as well. Alright, now here's why I'm gonna win. Last spawn just happened. And yep, I turned them both these rows into lurkers. That's the reason I built so much air, is because now my air is going to go in with the hopes of destroying their air, and then the lurkers suddenly become an unstoppable force because they can't see them. They're all in range. At this point I'm going to use a boom. I'm going to use my second boom on these guys, and the game's going to be over. There's their boom. They're going to get in range. Boom, they're gone. They're all lurkers. At this point, I'm just bolstering my air forces. I'm going to scoot forward a little bit. And now to the final battle. This guy is basically, he's not gloating, but you can kind of tell he's gloating a little bit. Alright, so here we go. Final battle. Alright, my forces, pretty flippin' huge. Their forces, also pretty flippin' huge. The difference is they have Terran, which means they have tanks, which usually means they should absolutely win against a weaker Zerg opponent. But I have my my trump card. So let's see what happens. Now we're basically just going to watch the smoke, wait for the smoke to clear at this point. Now he's actually built a battle cruiser. I wouldn't have done that, but I felt the need to. So then they got Vikings, and we've got Corruptors, and battle cruisers that are going against my my air forces. We also got ground to air. He's got a lot of ground to air going against me. Then again, I've got some ground to air going against them through Brutalisks. So let's see what happens. Just keep watching. Can't see the numbers at this point, but at this point their ground numbers are outmatching my ground numbers, while my air numbers are outmatching their air numbers. The problem at this point is that the lurkers are completely susceptible to damage, because, you know, they're lurkers. Until you take out their detection, they can be seen very easily. Now at this point, my ground forces aren't looking too good. Their ground forces are actually looking pretty good. And they're beginning to shoot at my Swarm Guardians. Alright, now at this point, my air forces are going to begin overwhelming them. And wait for it. Detection is now gone. Okay, their detection is now gone. So my detection is still alive for the moment. Now see, their detection wins. But you see, the lurkers survive. The Swarm Guardians survive. What happens? Lurkers? Yep. The lurkers survive. Check that out. That, my friends, is the end. Or is it? Now this guy basically goes to the point of saying, "Hey, you know what? You guys are gonna win." And I said, "Oh no, I'm definitely gonna win. There's gonna be no doubt about it." So we go over here. He's got some. He's got a couple of lurkers that are trying. He's got a couple of. I didn't even realize he had two Dark Templars. At this point he's saying it's going to be close, and I'm saying no it's not, because I've got Swarm Guardians, he doesn't. And at this point he's actually ahead of me. He's not. And I'm actually losing. But as you can tell, 2 lurkers, 2 Dark Templars versus 2 lurkers, and 4 Swarm Guardians. Which do you think's going to win? It's over. And I win. So how did I win this? Air supremacy. That's how I won it. Now at this point I gloat a little bit. Actually, I gloat a lot. I gloat a lot. I tell them basically they should have won because they had me big time, and they let me through. And that's the end of the game. 10,000, 9,000 versus 11,000. I've now overtaken them. That's all I'm going to show you. There's no doubt that I'm going to win. So, that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sure it was very, very long, and I apologize for that. But, all I've got to say is, those of you that say Zerg by himself can't win, I just proved you wrong. Enjoy it. Oh, and come play Desert Strike with us sometime. It's a lot of fun. Have a good night.